So KiraTV made a video on how Lost Ark actually destroyed a relationship. So first of all, before we get started, his room kinda looks insane, man. It's next level Reap. I'm kinda impressed. It's insanity. I wouldn't try that.
I have been playing a lot of Lost Ark,
bet or
at
something.
least up until recently when I quit the game, and yeah. I also frequent the MMORPG subreddit, and there's a very interesting thread going on right now called Lost Ark is ruining my relationship, which is probably going to be a fantastic read because it's going to get into some nitty gritty.
Yeah, probably spend a lot of money
mechanics of a game like that, and how they prey on people who are, going through some problems, mental illness, things like that. And I, of course, want to talk about Lost Ark myself and some of my issues with the game, which I'll probably do much more in depth because playing Lost Ark made me realize all the things I hate about current MMORPG design. So I figured we would go over this today. It says the title pretty much summarizes this: the disgusting pay-to-win, as well as gacha-like system, as well as just other psychological systems to make you spend money in the game, is putting strain between me and my boyfriend.
This is like every game right now. Like most of them are like this. You can't change that. The law must be changed, otherwise it won't go away, man.
I'm sorry to hear
need to stay strong with your mental.
You definitely need to get help if that's the case.
Don't waste your money.
You've been playing the game non-stop since it came out. Super into it. Hours as well. I can understand it does drag you in if you do get into Lost Ark, which not everybody does, of course. Some people absolutely hated it. If you do get hooked by Lost Ark, it does the dopamine farm game real good. It gets its claws into you. It makes you want to play. Makes you want to play more and more and more. And of course, with that comes wanting to pay if you do have the ability to do so. So I play it as well, but more laid back. Log in every few days, do some stuff and log out, and I'm done. The best way to play it, 100%. He plays it religiously. What's draining us is the amount he's spending in the game. He already had bought.
To be honest, when you spend in a game, for me it was Warframe, for example, the value of that pure premium currency goes away. Like in my own feeling, it felt like it was nothing. It was worth nothing. If you are playing a game completely free to play, you get that challenge, you get the grind. It's hard to get the easiest stuff, and that makes that currency something important, something you put worth into. You know what I mean? If you can just buy it with money, it's like not actually playing the game. And skipping a lot of stuff, like, to be honest, man, it's kind of useless.
Ooh, that's rough. I was already saying to him, that's a lot of money, but he's like, I like it, and I won't spend more on it.
Like, I did it once, never did it again.
It will set me up good. I'm going to guess that was, in fact, a lie. However, he's already bought another 2 of the top price currency packets. Basically, €350 since the release of the game.
Okay, that's absolutely insanity, man. That's insane. I personally spent, like, nothing. I just spent money to play it like 3 days earlier. Was it 15 euros or 5? I can't remember, but yeah, that was it. After that, I didn't spend anything. I just wanted to play it a bit earlier. That's it.
Been what?
And I got a nice cat.
Yeah, I know
basically
it's
free to play.
To like what others spend, but it's so much money. Now, obviously, it's not for me or anybody else to say whether this is or isn't a lot of money, because it's subjective, right? It depends on how much money you have. But the fact that this person is their partner and they're making the post, we can deduce from that it is in fact a lot of money to these people. Most of us know that the cheaper a game is in the MMO space, the more expensive it's going to be to keep up with other people playing the game, unless you play all the time. And if you play all the time, you're probably either rich and you don't work, or you have a job that's quite forgiving and you don't have
the time investment in this game, he's totally right. It can't be balanced by a normal working man.
Life and stuff like that, and that would mean €350 is probably a lot of money to you, and you could probably do much more with it. But like I say, predatory games like this, they get their hooks in you, they get their claws in you, and it's really hard to stop. People do legitimately have addictions to stuff like this, and it's why loot boxes and things like that, whether or not you agree with them, whether or not you think that they're okay, the problem is that they of course prey on people with gambling.
I just think it takes your fun away, as it said earlier, man. It's not worth it.
And that's why this game is banned in the Netherlands and Belgium, because they are countries to have anti-predatory loot box gambling laws. So literally today he was doing the tower on an alt character, so a completely solo activity, and he couldn't get past the boss on the floor, so he kept buying potions until he ran out. He was genuinely stuck on that floor for hours and was getting quite agitated. I can already tell this is going to go like really downhill.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic, man.
Sad at this point.
I'm
I
disappointed.
was like, okay, I'll leave him. Went upstairs, then came downstairs a few hours later to wash the dishes and stopped by behind him. Before I could even say anything, literally stood watching for 5 seconds. He was like, leave me alone and go away in an agitated/aggressive tone.
Bro,
Yeah,
she actually cares for him. Like, she deserves better, not bad.
This is getting real bad. I said to him, you should stop playing for today, and you don't even need to do that because you get matched every
that's
day.
what happens with
why
addictions.
spend so much time and resources
Can be
on
anything.
it? But he got so raged into it, he basically bought a €100 pack right then and there to get potions. I'm laughing because what else can you do? If you didn't laugh, you'd probably cry. Like, this is
sad. This is sad and
mental
pathetic.
illness, right? This is actually severely damaging. For somebody to be so into the game, not even into the game, loving it, because if you're into a game and loving it and you're like, man, I just want to buy this €100 pack because everything's so cool and I'm so chill and I'm really enjoying my time, he's spending money. That's addiction. That's not love. And then he says, which is funny because literally yesterday he was going through his plan and spreadsheet, which he does every 2 days, how he is converting gold to crystals and keeping track of it, so he's not spending any real money. That didn't work out too well. So I wish I could get into a game so much that I was making spreadsheets about it, because I've not been that into a game for a real long time, especially not an MMO. That's the point where you know you're really loving the game. But then again, he's not doing it because he loves the game. He's doing it because he's trying to stop himself spending money, which obviously didn't work all too great. He then goes on to say, this game makes me afraid with how it's training and tricking people's mind to spend money. It's fucking scary. Absolutely agree. Been right there with you the whole time. I think a lot of people watching this video on my channel will 100% be right there with you, because that's the kind of content I do, covering monetization and how predatory it is and stuff like that. And we talk about it a whole lot, how this is literally like psychologically training people and damaging people that either have underlying mental issues or develop them from playing games like this. And with mobile games being so big, especially with children, they're the games that do this worst. And obviously South Korean games, and Lost Ark in particular, has a lot of mobile game predatory design elements. That's again why the game is banned in countries that are trying to protect their populace from something that
like I was
obviously...
in BDO and BDO honing them and enhancement. I don't know how to call it again. It is disgusting, man. But yeah,
psychologically damaging, and as we see here, damaging to people's personal lives. So I couldn't imagine doing so myself.
You don't even hope
never felt compelled.
that it works. You just
pushed to the point
spam it till it
buying
works.
stuff with real money. It's dangerous.
It's a grind.
On top of that, the other day he said to me, quote, I wish I could buy smithing stones in Elden Ring. Which
is this a joke? What? I wish I could buy smithing stones in Elden Ring. You're pathetic, man. This
took me aback.
No, leave it immediately.
This person has clearly been severely damaged by what gaming has been turned into. Another video I've in works at the moment.
That's not only lost. It's like the gaming sphere itself, or gambling, life itself. It's a challenge, man. You need to get over that shit. You need to fight.
Is the monetization shift from
man.
arcade cabinets all the way to what we have now and what we'll potentially have in the future. And when you go through it, it's really clear to see that, you know, AAA gaming and games like Lost Ark that are just designed like a monetization element first, and then
I'm sorry, but every time I look into his camera, man, I just see the background.
Design a game around it. They've used psychologists to figure out how best to trick people and get people addicted to spending money in these games, these gacha games, these gambling games. And it's only going to get worse from here, I believe, at least in AAA gaming and games that borrow from that mobile game design. This is honestly, I'm not using pathetic as like a horrible, nasty term to these people, but it is pathetic. It's sad.
It is. It's just a fact, man.
That people go through this. And this is coming from somebody who grew up with one of my parents has a severe gambling addiction and has seen what that can do to families, what it can do to people.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't convince those people. It doesn't matter what you try. It's important that you try it, but
So to see people growing up like this and having this happen due to video games, which should be escapism. Video games should be something you can go and do that let you escape the real world. But more and more every day, these games are being turned into an extension of the real world, where you can either pay or just have a second-class citizen, just worse experience, unless you can
Back
play
in the day,
all
it was
day,
something different,
in which case you are literally just making the game your life, which is equally as unhealthy as spending all your money on it is. He goes on to say, it's not like we make a ton of money, live well but not well enough for Lost Ark, don't get paid American wages for our jobs. We want to go on holidays, buy a house, so many things, and it makes me afraid that this game will just ruin it all. It sounds like it already is. It sounds like this is like the title isn't a lie. This game is literally ruining this person's relationship. You definitely need to have a conversation with them and get this person in therapy immediately, because this is not the game's fault. This is gaming's fault,
it's just
and
mental.
your boyfriend's brain. He obviously has some kind of like predisposed condition that makes him susceptible
not only
to
gaming, as I said earlier, it can be anything in
gambling
in real life as well.
He's one of the people that these games are designed to exploit.
It's your mind.
So you 100% need to get this person to therapy and obviously get them to quit this game and any other game that has microtransactions. So basically go play indie games. That's the only real light of the tunnel. Go play indie games and games like Elden Ring that don't allow you to buy smithing stones and power within the game, and hopefully never fucking do. I just wanted to get this off my chest and talk about it. I don't think anyone else IRL would really understand. You should definitely be talking about people in your real life about this, specifically his family if you are close, because this is some like intervention level of shit, especially if they're getting angry with you, somebody they presumably love, just because you're watching them struggle playing a video game that's not even, it's casual. It's casual content. Doing the tower, it's not content people should be getting annoyed about. And then there's an edit. First, I want to thank you for all your compassionate commenters who are understanding. I really appreciate your advice and point of view. No, this is not a troll post and not fake. Why would it be? For those saying this isn't on the game and it's because my girlfriend has issues, I can somewhat agree on that. It's both. It's not specifically this game. This was the trigger for this thing, but he obviously
the game is a boosting factor.
Issues, but it's just overall gaming, and Lost Ark is the catalyst, right? It's the overall design of these games. It's not specifically like Lost Ark is the worst one or anything. It's just because Lost Ark is, it's a fun, cool new game, and he's just got really into it, and he's too deep into it. And then this one is obviously designed like a lot of them are, with these things that will do this to people. That's literally how they're designed, to do this to people. That yes, he definitely has this gambling / addiction issue in this game, but to completely absolve any fault from Lost Ark is delusional. The game's still at fault, but like I say, it's overall gaming, not just Lost Ark. Just because someone has issues doesn't make it okay for a game to prey on them and try to exploit it. It in no way makes it okay. If anyone's defending Lost Ark in this situation, you're wrong. Like, it's a problem. The game is a problem. The monetization is a problem. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's predatory. It's exploitative. It's fucking... It shouldn't be allowed to exist in the way that it does. I think that's a fairly objective statement. Obviously, some people are going to come in and be like...
There's no, paying mechanic in a free-to-play game, how could it be alive? Like, with cosmetics only, it won't get far. And people won't play it anymore because there's no prestige to it and shit like that. You let people spend money how they want to spend money. It's not about what they want to do, though, is it? They must keep going
literally
with this.
compelling people to do
option.
something through addiction and exploitation. It's not that they want to do it. And of course, that's why we have regulations and laws.
I think League did it perfectly. Just addicting, it's addicting another kind, but with monetization, League of Legends does it the best for a free-to-play game. Like, it's just cosmetic only. People are still into cosmetics because they put very hard and solid into cosmetics because they must sell well. And yeah.
Being exploited, that's literally what
but League has another addiction problem.
We don't just throw people to the wolves because they have mental conditions and say, it's not the thing's fault, it's the person's fault. That's not how shit works. And I'm glad that it doesn't. Also,
I think personally, it's like most of it's the person's fault. He like, if he can nothing, if he can't do nothing against it, like he needs to go to therapy and shit like that. It's his shit that he must do in life. Like, life is not easy. Everyone has some different kind of problem, and it is what it is, man.
He didn't spend it all in the previous money plus crystals on the tower.
This game is just a boosting factor, as I said earlier.
It was just me seeing him doing the tower, which
I don't know,
many
man.
people pointed out. How could you
he presents it like the game itself it's like the complete factor. It's like everything. Just because of this game, his life gets destroyed.
Made me go, oh shit, this is bad. As
why didn't it destroy my life or many others?
Doing the previous purchases. We've been together for quite a few years now, and he's a gamer.
It depends on the person.
Played other MMORPGs.
It's just like that.
This is the first game ever to have him spending his money like this. No other game before this. I'm concerned about the escalation. Also, small note: OP is gay. I'm his boyfriend as well. Congratulations. I'm not sure why that has anything to do with anything, but there you go. Yeah, 100% get this person in therapy. This is what these games do. Like I say, there's only so many times I can say it. Now, I'm not one of those people who's 100% for legislation and regulation of everything, but this is one of the things that I am for. Especially when they are designed and aimed at kids and young adults, and they are this bad. This is literally gambling, but with skipping the regulatory bodies that obviously have some say in how gambling is conducted and advertised and used, and the age restriction of people who are allowed to use it. I think
there must be some kind of age restriction with
gambling
those kinds of games.
You don't get back money, but it saves you time. And what is the saying? You know, time is money, friend. That's what this is. I really do think countries need to step in and do something about this, because it's going to get much worse before it gets any better. If you don't stop them and just keep letting them push the boat out step by step, what's it going to be like in a couple of years, guys? If it's this bad and it's having this much of a toll on people, loot boxes have been doing the same thing for years. When you take it from cosmetic to the overall game as well, just like this, just like FIFA Ultimate Team, things like that, which are massively accepted in the West and earn billions of dollars in revenue each year, you know, where's it go from here? Definitely, they're not going to roll it back, are they, of their own volition? They're not going to turn around and be like, oh, we're not doing that anymore, guys. We're going to be much more fair. So people need to step in. A couple of countries have, like I said, Netherlands and Belgium did, but all these companies do is think, yeah, we'll make more money exploiting the youth, exploiting the vulnerable in these other countries than what we would if we change the game or the systems for those countries. So we'll just ban those ones and just ship it everywhere else. And obviously, the more countries that ban stuff like this, the less they can do that, because it would obviously cut into their revenue way too much. So they would have to make changes. So there you go. I'm really sorry that this is a thing. Obviously, a lot of people will have gone through this or will in the future, especially with children now growing up with this in the mobile industry.
Yeah, this is kind of hard for the next generation to endure, I guess. And yeah, that was that video made by Kira. Subscribe to him if you enjoy this content. I'm not totally agreeing on this stuff, and but mostly I'm for it, what he says about it. But some the stuff he said, it totally needs to be regulated, or disabled. I don't think that's the key, but maybe I've missed some kind of message, or my English is just not read well, I guess. But yeah, subscribe to him, subscribe to me if you enjoy this kind of content, and I see you next time with more Lost Ark, Elden Ring, Genshin, it doesn't matter, reaction guide content. Bye.